and welcome back. My name is Hannah and today I am playing with Oden's Eye Solmane 2 palette. I will be doing a 3 looks 1 palette video. So if you're curious about anything that I'm wearing on my face, what I mentioned in today's video, what I'm doing in other pockets of the internet, make sure to check the description box down below. I will have my final thoughts and opinions and first impressions at the end of the video. So if you're curious about that, I will try to have a timestamp down below if I even know how to do that. But I have the eyeshadow palette, I have all of the colored liners, plus the one brown one, and I got one blush in the shade Peach Gleam. I did not get any of the highlighters simply because I just couldn't afford it, and I like having a variety of blushes. I tend to use blushes for different things. I'm kind of okay with the few highlighters that I have. I'm not a big highlighter person, but that's not to say that I don't have it on my wish list. I've always loved Oden's Eye. I think that they're one of the better indie brands, and I do talk about that at the end of the video, but I'm just so happy to play with this collection. So if you'd like to see the 3 looks that I make, please continue watching. Okay, so let's start with look number 1. I'm filming this as soon as I'm getting home from work because I am so excited to play with this palette. I don't know what kind of color story I'm going to go with just yet. I just know that I want to play with this blue eyeliner and I want to play with this blush, so I'm going to try and figure out something around that. But if you're curious about anything that I'm wearing on my face, it will be listed in the description box down below. I think I'll probably repeat that with every look. But this is the blush. I got mine in the shade Peach Gleam, and this one is supposed to be their orange blush, but then there's another orange shade. I was a little bit confused because I wanted an orange like dewy blush, but there's like almost 2 different orange shades. I'm a little nervous this one might be too dark for me, but this is what it looks like on the inside. And there's a little bit of like gold right here. I don't know if that's permanently in the pan or if that's just kind of like an overspray, but it is supposed to be like a, I wouldn't say like a super shock, but kind of like that same dewy kind of finish. And I love the packaging of this blush. It actually reminds me of the Nabla packaging. This one is a light, like a slimmer kind of compact. This definitely feels more like luxurious, and I would say this is more like classy. But then it also makes sense to me because I am more likely to toss something like a face powder in my purse than something like a blush. This is something more for my vanity. But I'm just gonna go ahead and go in with the blush first because I can't control myself. I'm a little bit nervous because I'm afraid it might be too dark, but we'll see. I think that's really pretty. I thought this might be almost too burnt for me, like a sunburn kind of orange. But it's actually quite nice. That's really pretty. I'm kind of curious now to pair this with other blushes in my collection. I've been really enjoying kind of doing like a 2 blush moment. I really like that blush. I think that looks really cute. So I can kind of go one of 2 ways. I want to complement the orange on my cheek, but I want to play with that blue eyeliner. So what am I gonna do? I just like look at the inside of this palette. It's gorgeous. I'm gonna take the shade Dream and I'm gonna pop it right in my crease. It's not quite as pigmented as other, it's not quite as pigmented as the lighter shades in the Hella palette, but it could also be the base that I'm using. Maybe if I use something that was more of like a white base than a skin base, I would get more of a pop of color. Let's see, I'm gonna take the shade Neptune, and I'm just gonna take that on the outer corner. And kind of blend that in. I'm gonna take a fluffier brush and kind of work that Neptune shade in. And then let's take Warm Light and see what happens. I love how pigmented this gold tone is. I kind of wish that the other shades in the palette were performing this way, because this Warm Light shade is very, very pigmented. I'll take the shade Galaxy. Actually, do I want to do that? I'm gonna take the shade Galaxy and kind of pat it into my lower lash. And then I'm gonna take a little bit of Galaxy on an angled brush and just kind of line my lower lid. I don't know why I've also been compelled to take a deeper shade into my lash line like this. I've just really been enjoying that. Okay, and then, I don't know, I want to take a shimmer and I want to take an inner corner highlight, so what am I going to do first? Let's take Soft Cloud, and it's like this blue tone, and I'm just going to toss that in the outer corner. And kind of bring it down. And kind of take it on the edge. I don't know, I kind of just like to blend the excess of the shade out. I think it does something, I really don't know. Okay, and then I don't know, what shimmer do I want to take? Do I want to take a purple, a blue, a gold? I'll take the shade Starry Sky. I don't know, it's kind of like this pinky shade. And I'm gonna get my brush wet. And then I'm gonna tap it where the gold and the blue meet. And hopefully kind of just blend that out. I'm going to take a little bit more of that gold tone and just kind of pat it in. Okay, that's not bad. I am going to do the eyeliner. I don't know, it always freaks me out to film this part. Oh no, my liner is broken to the inside of my lid. Oh no. The corner of my eyeliner broke off. That's kind of annoying. I'm a little bummed out, but I've been on the hunt for this kind of shade of blue for a while. I do have another blue like this in my collection that I've used from time to time on this channel, and I've really enjoyed that eyeliner, and it's not super expensive and it didn't take too long to ship to me. but I'm really excited that colored liner is kind of coming back into people's, like, I don't know, minds. I like using colored liner in my waterline. I like using colored liner just in general. I just really like a colored eyeliner. I think it adds so much to the look. So I'm gonna gently pull down on my lower lid. I'm sorry if this freaks you out. I don't really like filming this part. But I mean, it's applying pretty easily. And I'm sitting fairly far from my like mirror, so I'm just kind of like guessing where my placement is. But that wasn't so bad to apply. It was pretty easy. It's definitely not as dry as my other one, but it does look very similar. I could do a comparison. But this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to finish my eye off of camera and then just show you what the final look looks like. I have to do something to adjust my lighting. I feel like it's kind of dark. Okay, this is the final look, and I didn't do anything different on this eye. I think I was just more cautious in application. So for my first look and not knowing really what I wanted to do, just wanting to dive into the products, I'm not mad at this look, but I'm also not comfortable in this look. Like, I don't feel like this shows my artistry skill, if you will, and maybe you could argue that I don't have that, but I know that I can make myself look cute. And not that I don't feel cute in this, it's just I want to play with it more. I want to master it a little bit more. What this tells me is I have to be careful with what kind of primer I use, and that's probably like a Hana. Of course, you have to be careful with what kind of primer you use. Primers do different things. The primer that I use today is the primer that I've kind of used with all of my eyeshadow palettes, including my Hella palette. And my Hella palette is a bit more pigmented, and I feel like these shades kind of start really vivid and bright, and then they, like, not that they oxidize, but they kind of like shift in a weird way, like they kind of melt into the skin in a way. So I have to work with them a little bit differently is what I'm realizing. So I can't wait to get into my second and third look to see how far I come. But so far, for first impression, it's not bad. I just think there's a little bit of a learning curve, but that could just be me also learning like more vividy, almost pastel-y kind of shades, because I feel the same way about the Natasha Denona pastel palette. But that's it for look number one. I'm gonna fast forward time and start look number two. Okay, now we're gonna start look number two. I've already done my base and everything off of camera. This is more of just showing you the eyeshadows. As I've said with every look so far, if you're curious about what I'm wearing on my face, make sure to check the description box down below. This will be listed under look number two. So for today's look, I'm gonna try and keep it pretty simple and only play with a few shades, but I'm gonna start with this soft cloud shade. And I'm just gonna blend it on the inner corner of my eye and into that crease. I really do like the blue from this palette. It's very pretty and very flattering. So I just blend it out a little bit more. Next, I'm gonna go in with an eyeliner, and I'm gonna use the, what is this shade called? Shade 13. This is like the brown one from Oden's Eye. And I'm just gonna map out a little bit of a wing. I can get the liner where I want it, but it is soft, so I am kind of like nervous to apply pressure. I'm gonna take the end of this blended brush and just kind of blend it out. I wouldn't say that the eyeliner sets super fast, but I would work fairly quickly. but it's pretty easy to blend in. I'm gonna take an angled brush and go into the shade Black Hole. I'm assuming this is a matte black because I kind of want to do like use it as a liner. And following the eyeliner that I have, I'm just gonna draw a quick little wing. Let me know in the comments down below if you're one of those lucky people that could just do eyeliner. I've always struggle bust. Always, and it doesn't matter what it is. I have a very heavy hand and I suffer from doing too much. So I'm just gonna be ever so careful. I say as I'm going into my eye as a mad person. Can you even see what I'm doing? Probably not. I'm just trying to lightly press this shade into my eyeball or into my lid. So I'll settle for this. I'm gonna put an eyeliner in my waterline and I'm gonna do my lashes and my other eye off of camera, and then we can see if I made this eye look exactly like this one. I'll be right back. So this is the finished look. I feel pretty confident that I did the same shape, sort of. Like this one's more of like a bat wing and looks more like, I don't know, like nicer liner. I like this eye more than this one. This one's like straight line, but it's not bad. Like, am I an Instagram model or what? I love this blue. The yellow is kind of fading, and I think this is just a thing with the Oden's Eye formula. It could be the kind of brushes that I have as well, but I think they just kind of like melt. You know when you get butter really warm and it's just melted butter, but when you put it on bread, the bread like soaks it up. I feel like the eyeshadow formula is the butter and my lid is the bread, and it's absorbing and it looks really pretty, but it's not as vivid as I would like it to be. I think that the Hella palette has more vividness and more pigmentation, but again, I'm still learning, I'm still playing. So let me know in the comments down below, what kind of tips or tricks would you do to kind of like recreate this look, or some tips that you have for me. I would love to hear it. Let's move on to look number 3. And now we're on look number 3. I wanted look number 3 to be something a little bit special. I've totally fallen in love with the promo art for Oden's Eye. Even for the Hella palette, the way that these models had their makeup done, it looked so pretty. So I'm going to try and mimic one of the looks that I really fell in love with. I'm sort of guessing how these looks are done. It's not like there's like a tutorial or a step-by-step kind of thing. So I'm going to start with the Soft Cloud shade, and I'm going to pop that in the inner corner and just kind of sweep that shade across, focusing it in the very front corner. And then I'm going to go in with the Warm Light shade, but looking at the image, it's kind of taken on the whole lower lid, and I'm just using more of a flat brush to kind of blend it out. And then I'm going to go back in, with that blue shade, and I'm going to try and angle it up and blend it out. Now that I have the base done, I'm going to go in with those deeper shades, and I'm going to start with the shade, I believe they're using Galaxy. And I'm just going to use that to kind of like contour the shape of my eye. And then I'm gonna take a little bit of that in like my eye area, but I think I'm gonna kind of do like a faux cat eye or like a faux wing. I have to trust the process because right now I feel like I have very like black eye, like the contrast. And then there is an orange shade, and then I'm going to go in with the shade Solar, and I'm going to try and I just have to trust the process. Again, I'm nervous. But I really do like this orange shade on top of this yellow. Like I would almost just do the orange and the yellow by itself. I almost feel like if I deleted everything else, that would have been the better look. I'm also going to take it in the lower waterline and blend it out. I think to kind of master this look, I really just have to blend these shades. I'm gonna try and soften this purple with this blue and hope that I'm very nervous about this part, but I mean, maybe if I have it on the other side, it'll complete what I'm going for, hopefully. It also seems like she has the shade kind of going through her eyebrow. Is that what I'm missing? Should I try to soften this purple with this orange? I'm just getting very much a black eye. But I don't know, we're trusting the process. Like that looks kind of fun. I kind of like just rubbing these shades on my entire face. She also has a winged liner, so this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna kind of use this black shade like I did in look 2 to kind of do a winged liner. I'm gonna do my other eye off of camera, and then I will come back and we can talk about my 3 looks. So this is the final look, and I really do enjoy it. I wish I styled my hair and like put on more of an outfit, but even just kind of doing a first attempt at a look like this, I really enjoy the outcome. I will say I need to get better at blending and clean my brushes because I don't know if it's the brush that I used with this formula or the formula itself. That this is me. I'm not putting it on the product. This is me. I could have blended this a lot better. But that being said, let's talk about this order. Let's talk about this collection because I have a lot of things to say and I'm just ready to talk about it. So let's start with the eyeshadow formula. It is definitely buildable and blendable. That being said, it could be really user-friendly because there are a lot of duos that you can match in this palette. You could do a lot of quick 1 to 2 shade kind of looks. So if that's the kind of makeup look that you enjoy doing, you could still very much enjoy this palette. But there are shades that you can mix in together, and this is what I really enjoy about Oden's Eye and the color stories that they pick for their palettes, because I am really impressed by this orange and purple blending together and the effect that it's giving me. It's actually really gorgeous. Obviously the yellow and the orange shade and the blue and the purple shade are going to be perfect for each other because they're shades in the same kind of color story. But the fact that this orange and this purple can blend and they're kind of opposites also looks really pretty. What I'm not super thrilled about is that I don't find that these lighter shades in this palette are as vivid as I know Oden's Eye can get. There are bright shades in the Hella palette that really pop using just my normal eyeshadow primer. I used more of a white based primer for today's look, and it's still like the yellow really popped off in a more like Winnie the Pooh yellow, and now it's kind of fading into like a more orange tone. I don't know if that's I don't know if it's oxidizing or if it's just like melting into my skin. Like I love the shade, but when I see it in this palette, it looks more of like a really vivid kind of yellow. And it's the same same for the blue and it's the same for the lilac. But overall, I really enjoy the mattes in this palette. You just kind of have to work with them in a different way. The shimmers, I love to spray my shimmer shades because I like having it emulsify with my mattes. But spraying my shadows or going in dry, I don't have a lot of crazy fallout, if at all. These are the good standard Oden's Eye shimmers. I think Oden's Eye really does a beautiful job with their shimmers. They're always so gorgeous. And I would say that these are on par with the Hella palette formula. Like, it's just, they're really pretty. I really love them. The pop that it adds to looks is really gorgeous, and I've been really enjoying watching people's looks on Instagram and on TikTok, and just how they kind of blend these shades together and how they use the shimmers and the mattes, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Let's talk about the eyeliner. My only upset is the packaging. I think most of the tips of my eyeliner had all like dried out and popped off. And I don't know what else that the company could do, because they definitely securely wrapped my order. It was like wrapped in plastic wrap, and then those were wrapped in bubble wrap, and then they were also wrapped in bubble wrap, and my whole order was wrapped in bubble wrap. Like, I have a lot of plastic on my desk right now, and I just think because it's shipping from another country, like, what else could they do? I don't know if I would say that I would want them to be a pencil. I am more of a fan of a pencil eyeliner rather than a mechanical kind of eyeliner, but I don't know. These are very vivid. These are very nice. They are long lasting, but they're also easy to wash off. I do double cleanse with a cleansing balm, and depending on the day and how I've been treating my skin, I will go in with a cleansing oil or like a foam like wash. So it really just depends, but I mean, it's easy to get out of my eyes. Sometimes I have eyeliners that really just want to hang out in my lashes. But it is long lasting. I do have allergies, and because we're kind of shifting from one season to the next, it is very dusty out here in the desert, and I have a dust allergy. It's very comfortable to add them to my eye, and even when my eyes do water because I will be outside doing some yard work, my eyeliner isn't like melting off of my face. It's actually really nice. So it makes me wonder if the darker shades also have that same kind of longevity, because at least for the colored shades it does. And when I used the brown liner, it was actually one of the nicer brown liners I've ever used. There is a thin wax on the eyeliners, and I don't know if this is like to preserve the product or keep the product from drying out, but once you kind of melt that layer, which is pretty easy, you can kind of just draw on the back of your hand. Once that layer of wax is gone, the eyeliner is even smoother to apply. It is a bit more vivid. You don't have to like work as hard. I think if you go back to look number 1 and you're seeing how I'm using the brown liner, it does look very hard to get on, almost like I'm tugging. But after I kind of got through that first phase, by the time I got to the second eye, it was very easy to put on. So that would be my suggestion to you, is to just kind of do a few strokes on the back of your hand before you apply it to your face. I do enjoy the blush. I do wish that I had gotten a lighter shade. I do find that the shade is a little bit too deep for me personally, but I do think that it's really pretty. I can just go in very light-handed, and kind of blending this blush with other matte blushes that I have, like putting it with the Kaleidos blushes, they actually go really well together and they look really pretty. So overall, I find that this collection is really nice. I think if you were interested in anything, I think it's safe to say try it. Try it. If this is your first time ordering from Oden's Eye, I don't think it would be a bad choice. I really do enjoy these shadows. There is a little bit of a learning curve, but it's not too crazy. Like, I think I love Oden's Eye. I really do think that anyone in the like spectrum of makeup skill can use their products and make them look really, really pretty. So I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions down below. Which look was your favorite? What critiques do you have for me? Did you also get this palette? Did you get one of the highlighters? I don't know. I really have my eye on that green one now. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.